Today, UFC 322 is in the books, and in the main event, Islam Makhachev has been crowned the new welterweight champion of the world. 5 rounds straight of lay and pray wrestling get him to the promised land. Also, what about Zhang Weili's performance against Valentina Shevchenko? That's right, there was no performance against Valentina Shevchenko because the Chevy truck steamrolled over Zhang Weili. Also, what about Leon Edwards getting sent to the land of wind and ghosts? Poor dude. I mean, lost his soul, lost his life, lost his hairline, got a bald spot. It's hard times for Leon Rocky Edwards. Plus, what about Ewing? What about Ewing? We haven't seen a Ewing put up top numbers in the Garden in a long time, but on Saturday night, we did. We relived history, and we saw that. Plus, Bo Nickal got a knockout. All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's your boy, Matt, and we are here to talk about UFC 322 that went down New York City, Madison Square Gardens, where in the main event, Islam Makhachev goes out there and defeats Jack Della Maddalena to become the new welterweight champion of the world. I ain't gonna hold y'all. This wasn't the most exciting fight. And what was very interesting about this fight, it's something that you don't normally see. And that was a hard-nosed, no pun intended, tough fighter, dog fighter like Jack Della Maddalena get out-techniqued to the point in which it didn't break him like how you've seen in the past, like how Khabib would break an opponent where they're just on the ground. They don't know what to do. They don't know which way to go. Like when Khabib fought Edson Barboza, broke the man, right? It's not a breaking like that where they're clearly physically outmatched. They don't know what to do, so they're just allowing this other person to ragdoll them. Jack Della Maddalena got broken last night. In a way, it was like a mental breaking. Now, granted, Joe Rogan, DC kept highlighting they believed that his right leg was severely compromised from the devastating calf kicks that Islam kept landing over and over again, which I really think those calf kicks honestly kept Jack Della from ever being able to establish any sort of a rhythm on the feet. So as Jack Della is doing his thing and he's throwing his jabs, he's trying to get his thing started, right? He's trying to find a rhythm for his striking so he can gauge his range or find his range. That calf kick kept interrupting that. He could never find that rhythm. So there could have been an issue, definite leg injury there, right? Because Jack Della kept grimacing and everything while he was on the ground. Basically, 5-round Islam Makhachev decision, being held on the ground, keeping him down, never really letting Jack Della breathe. But with that being said, bro, Jack Della broke like mentally, right? It was like the man was going through this fight, and each round, each moment, it's like he's seeing his dream in the distance. He's seeing over the horizon. He's seeing a picture of himself with the welterweight championship, holding it high, right? And with each moment of each round of this fight, he's watching that picture of him holding the championship fade and pixelate away, right? His dream was essentially unalived. And you could see him like in his corner. Again, he wasn't physically broken, I don't believe. I think he was mentally broken. Like, first round, he comes back to the stool for this, he comes back, seems like, okay, I'm gonna get it back, I'm gonna get it back. Coming back after the second round, it's like he's starting to realize, ish, like this is gonna be a little bit tougher than what I thought. When he came back after the third round, it was a wrap, bro. It was a wrap. And you could tell he was mentally in the fight by the way he walked out to TNT and that face, that scowl that he had. And I mean, had this been, if Jack Della was a little bit bigger of a star and this was in his home country and they played that TNT, the way that it has like almost the crowd noises, the way it has that built in, bro, that arena would have been popping, right? But it's just as the fight went on, Jack Della, and I've seen other YouTubers comment on this, he almost looked like he was about to break down and cry at moments. Like, and I don't believe it was from the damage or the pain or the physical punishment of what Islam was dishing out. I just think he realized early in that fight, right? Probably after he came back to the stool after the third round that he wasn't going to win and he still had 10 more minutes to go. Devastating, man. Devastating. Islam Makhachev is now the new welterweight champion of the world. A lot of things circulating, speculation, swirling as to who he would fight next at welterweight. I'm not sure. He, in his post-fight speech, he made the call out that he wants to be at the White House card. So we'll see how all that shakes out, See who he's going to face. We got a long time in between now and July. So we'll see how all that plays out. Any number of guys he could fight. We'll see who's going to win between Bilal Muhammad and your boy from Ireland. I can't remember his name right now. The Wag. You know what I'm saying? Ian Gary Machado. So, we'll see what happens, man. But, also, we'll see what happens with Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, we'll see what goes on. We'll see what happens. Shavkat still waiting in the wings. So we'll see what happens. But Islam is your new welterweight champion of the world. I must say, it was an awesome scene to see how happy Coach Khabib Nurmagomedov was. Just the joy that he had, the happiness. You have to imagine that on some level, this is such a personal accomplishment between him and his late great father, Abdul. And I just, Abdul Manap, it's just one of those things where to see him holding Islam on his shoulders, Islam with the welterweight championship, that was awesome to see. I haven't seen Khabib that happy in a long time, bro. I ain't seen him that happy since he was on the ground slapping the hell out of Conor McGregor, talking about, talk shit now, psh, talk shit now, and bro. You know what I'm saying? So, nevertheless, man, shout out to Islam Makhachev. How about in the co-main event, Zhang Weili goes out there and gets physically dominated. Dominated for 5 rounds straight by that Chevy truck, Valentina Shevchenko. Wow. Wow. I did not see that coming. And DC on the commentary, Daniel Cormier, made a very good point, and that's what really threw off my pick in this fight. Is he said, I was so enamored by the skill set that Zhang Weili has. I was so enamored by how devastating she's been at 115 pounds that it never really dawned on me that she might just be too small for Valentina Shevchenko. And that's what we saw. All of Weili's skills in the world, everything she possesses, didn't mean a damn thing when you're in there with Valentina Shevchenko and you're undersized. So Valentina Shevchenko dominated her, moves forward. What I love about Valentina's stand-up is the fact that Valentina is not a fighter that's going to follow you into the fire. She's going to bring you to her fire. I love the way that she just stands there, poised, and doesn't move and waits for her opponent to move toward her. That way she's never following, she's never chasing, as well as she's not backing up. She just stands her ground. Stand your base. She just stands her ground. She's right there, and she brings her opponent to her. Outstanding to see. She moves forward. We'll see what's up next for her in the later days, next few weeks. We'll see what shakes out. There's always Natty Ice, Natalia Silva on the rise. So we'll see what's next for her. Nevertheless, she goes out there and gets a win. Let's move on. Let's move on to the fight right before that. What a performance. Round one KO. Michael Morales goes out there and defeats number 2 ranked Sean Brady. It was clear to see, almost like similar to the Weili Valentina Shevchenko fight. You see all these skills that Michael Morales has, you see all the skills that Sean Brady has. And you're just thinking Sean Brady's going to tackle him and get him to the ground one way or the other. Even though Michael Morales has good takedown defense, eventually Sean Brady will get him down, and once he gets him down, he'll go to work. That's what I thought was going to happen. But when you saw the size difference and the physicality that Michael Morales was willing to impose, and the commentators DC and Joe Rogan kept talking about the way that Michael Morales was standing leaning forward, right? He was standing leaning forward at the waist. He almost like paused, had his butt like stuck way out behind him, right? To keep his hips away from Sean Brady. So that way these hands are ready to deliver punishment as you come in, or deliver uppercuts as you come in. So if you're going to get to these hips, pause, it's going to be dangerous. You're going to take some shots to get to these hips. I'm talking about. Another pause, because I feel like I should. So with that being said, bro, amazing. This was amazing to watch this happen, because much like the Weili fight, you realize how huge Michael Morales is. And Sean Brady is physically a strong dude. I mean, this dude, his back is as wide as an aircraft carrier, right? But it's like, bro, at the same time, it's just Morales is just bigger. He's just taller. He has a longer reach, and he was well prepared. And he knocks him out in the first round. And one would assume, does this mean he's now the number 2 ranked welterweight in the world? Very interesting when you're talking about Islam Makhachev. Now, we know Michael Morales is not going to sit out and wait till next year, the White House card. So, if Michael Morales puts together a few more wins and they're exciting, I could see this man. If he's ranked number 2, I just don't see him waiting that long for whenever Islam is ready to fight again. So I would say by default he would have one more fight. But if he's about to be ranked number 2, and I don't know if that's what the UFC would do, bro, very interesting. Shout out to Michael Morales. He goes out and get the win. What about Carlos Prates? The man who's blowing darts, laying cigs, drinking beers, living his life in a fashionable way. My type of dude. What about Carlos Prates goes out there and breaks poor receding hairline Leon Edwards? This was a quality fight. I was watching this show with my wife, and it's hilarious. And for all of you haters out there, my wife knows a lot. A lot about mixed martial arts, right? She started watching, me and my wife, we've been together forever, right? She started watching this ish with me back in the Brock Lesnar Tito Ortiz days. You know what I'm talking about? Way back in the day with Captain America losing the heavyweight championship to Brock Lesnar days, right? Randy Couture. She's been watching with me for a long time. Nevertheless, bro, as we're watching this fight, I was so distracted because she just kept making fun of Leon Edwards' hairline. And it was pound for pound some of the funniest content you will ever hear. I should have been recording it. Nevertheless, dude, the way Carlos Prates was so unfazed and unbothered by what Leon Edwards was trying to bring to the table was amazing. And even when Leon had his back and they were standing and Leon's hanging off his back like a backpack and punching Carlos Prates in the face, and Prates is like, and just was unfazed. Amazing to see. He knocks out Leon in the second round. Awesome. Good to see a lot of new blood in the welterweight division and a lot of exciting new blood. New blood that doesn't lay and prey on their fighters, you know what I'm saying, their opponents for the whole round. Carlos Prates moves forward. How about Beneil Dariush? Beneil Dariush got sent to the land of wind and ghosts, you know what I'm saying, fell over in the fetal position, you know what I'm saying. Ass up, face down. Another pause on this video. This is a paused out video. You know what I'm saying? That's how he got knocked out. Benoit Saint Denis was heated that that man missed weight, and he dealt with him accordingly. Shout out to Benoit Saint Denis. I'm anxious to see. He ain't ready for Ilia Topuria yet, but I'm anxious to see what they do with that man. How about Bo Nickal goes out there, gets performance of the night as he head kicks Rodolfo Vieira into oblivion. Also, Benoit Saint Denis got performance of the night. Also, Carlos Prates got performance of the night. I didn't mention these. Also, Michael Morales got performance of the night. Didn't mention that. Let's move on, though. Bro, Bo Nickal looked a lot more solid, a lot more poised now. He looked to be in a little bit better physical condition, looked slightly leaner than what we normally see. That was what I was thinking. This dude is a wrestler, bro. This dude is a wrestler. He's gonna make a comeback. You know what I'm saying? He's a wrestler, like a DC type wrestler when you're talking about collegiate wrestling. These dudes, it's hard for them to take a bad L like he did last time and not bounce back with a fury. So that's why I figured he was going to beat Rodolfo Vieira. Shout out to Bo Nickal. Head kick knockout. Awesome to see. Let's move on. How about Roman Kopylov? Almost rebounded against RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez. Rodriguez gets the win via decision. This was a good back and forth fight. This fight was a banger. These men were throwing heavy hands. It was awesome to see. Shout out to Roman Kopylov. At one point, I thought he was really going to be a thing in his division. He took a few L's. Even though he lost last night, I will say he did look poised. He did look solid. So good rebound for him. How about Aaron Blanchfield? Goes out there and subs second round Tracy Cortez. Got that rematch back. You know what I'm saying? She got that win back. Tracy Cortez beat her on the regional circuit when Blanchfield was 19, which is what she said as much. She goes out there, defeats Tracy Cortez. I will say Tracy Cortez, and I'm not no fighter, I'd get beat up by a lot of these fighters, so no disrespect. But I felt like she checked out. That choke was in, but that choke wasn't in like that. That choke was in, don't get me wrong. But Tracy Cortez didn't really fight it for too long. She kind of quickly tapped. I didn't really like that. But Blanchfield moves forward. We'll see what they do with her at flyweight. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what they do with her. I would say, though, straight up off top, bro, I'd say right now Valentina Shevchenko runs through Blanchfield. I'm going to be honest. Now, I don't know what happens with Natty Ice, with Natalia Silva, but if I was a UFC, I would not put Blanchfield in there with Valentina just yet. Because I think Blanchfield needs to go out there and they need to push her to go out there and get a devastating finish and do one of them exasperated after the fight call-outs to the champion to try to sell it. Because Blanchfield is not much of a talker, but this lady is intense. And I think if she goes out there, demolishes another female, and then gets on the mic and really makes a call for that championship title shot, she might have something. But right now, I'd say Valentina demolishes her, plus that fight wouldn't sell at all. But nevertheless, shout out to Aaron Blanchfield. How about Malcolm Wellmaker meets up with Ethan Ewing? And Ewing puts up top numbers in the Gardens, and we ain't seen that since the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Maybe late 80s. Bro, Malcolm Wellmaker, bro. I don't believe this was a situation where he took Ewing lightly. I mean, I think Wellmaker did start slow, but I think he was poised and trying to set up Ewing for that check hook that he lands all the time. And he landed it once or twice, and Ewing did not waiver. And after that, I think it was about over for Wellmaker. And he tried to make a few other desperate attempts. He had some good powerful body kicks. He landed some good shots, and he wobbled Ewing at a couple different times. But, bro, Ewing was ready, bro. This dude would not be denied. Shout out to him. He gets the win via decision over Malcolm Wellmaker on like 4 days' notice. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. Maybe 2 days' notice. I don't know. It was barely an hour's notice. Nah. How about Cal Dawkins goes out there and defeats GM3, Gerald Mearshart, via submission in the first round. Cal Dawkins thinks he's back and he thinks he's about to go on a run, but given the competition he's faced, not so fast. I think they need to throw him in there with somebody a little bit more, of a solid caliber, a little bit more well-rounded. We'll see what happens. But Dawkins goes out there and gets the win. Pat Sabatini goes out there, gets a win over Chepe Mariscal. Basically, Pat Sabatini laid and prayed, got him a win. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about Pat Sabatini, bro, but he got a lay and pray win, whatever. Angela Hill goes out there. She gets defeated by Fatima Klein. It was a sad one to see. I don't know, man. I mean, shout out to Angela Hill. I'm not one to be telling people when to retire, but Angela Hill, I don't think... I think it's about time she hangs up the gloves. If I was her, I might have hung them up right there in Madison Square Gardens in front of that crowd. But nevertheless, she takes a L. Surakayev goes out there and defeats Eric Makhachev. Third round KO. He got it in, bro. It's what we all kind of expected, but that's what it was. And then we had Borishev, or Slava Klaus, as I like to call him, goes out there against Mateus Camilo, and Camilo gets the win via decision. So that was the UFC in Madison Square Gardens, UFC 322, where we have Anu in Islam Makhachev at welterweight, and still in Valentina Shevchenko at 125 pounds. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought about this show. And once again, guys, I do want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.